Welcome to The Eyes of Indigo with your infinitely curious hosts, Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Our show is broadcast live at 9:30 p.m. Wednesdays. Socio-spiritual topics are laced with humor as we discuss weird stuff in a rational way. Learn more about us in our first episode, The Prequel. Shows are recorded and available on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, iTunes, and other aggregators. A keyword searchable index is at iriscarter.com/EOI directory. Share ideas and comments in the program chat or by email. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share our show. Let us know you're here by typing your hello in the comments because we are thrilled to welcome you as we begin another adventure right now.
Okay.
And I'm here and I'm bringing Margot back. There she comes.
No, my screen was flickering, so I had to jump back in and out.
Yeah. So,
goodness.
and I'll put our names up there just in case people don't know who we are. I'm Iris, and we got Margot over here. Yay!
Woohoo! Back online.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
And it
Welcome.
looks like Facebook is working, so.
It is good. Technical weirdo. That's a topic for conversation too. The technical kerfuffles that are everywhere.
Yeah.
Aloha, Jeannie and Dale. Absolutely.
So if you're watching, do say something to us. We'd love to know that people are out there.
We mean it. Type hello, type namaste, type aho, ayibobo, baraka, shalom, whatever you want to do.
Or just a simple hi.
WTF, that's another one. Whatever's your groove, we're there. So we appreciate you guys being here, and we also want to say hi and welcome to people from the future who are going to listen to us in recording on Audible stuff or watching in video as well. Hi to all of our listeners and new ones. Welcome to the channel. We're happy to have you here with us as well. So Iris, what thin ice are we going to skate on tonight?
Oh, I would love to go skating again. That's a good one. All right. Tonight, we're talking about releasing the attachment to outcome. Whether we're planning a dinner with family or manifesting our greatest dream, our biggest block to success can be anticipating a specific outcome. How do we release our expectations without giving up hope? So you're going to get our take on that tonight. Yeah.
Absolutely. And to start off with, I really love you came up with this topic, and I really love the angle you came at in the wording because it nailed something that was kind of vague to me before. And people have a hard time expressing what is it that causes their resistance to letting go. And a great way to express that is losing hope. They see, projecting the outcome as a form of expressing or visualizing hope, and letting go of the outcome is a whole lot more than that. That is one way to look at it, but there's a whole lot of other different perspectives about the values and the benefits of letting go. So while we were talking to each other before the show and hopping off and on our chairs and maintaining and typing and stuff like that, I was taking notes about what to talk about tonight. And what kept circling back was a real basic question that I didn't get to bring up because we looked up and the clock said 9:30. And I was like, whoops, okay, we just need to go on the air and I'll throw it out. There's a basic question that goes along with this that's a good place to start, I think. And that is, why let go? What is the benefit of letting go? What are the benefits of letting go?
Well, I actually think that's more of the meat of it. And I think we kind of need to explain what we're coming up to. First of all, explain the first side of it before we get into the meat of letting go, because we haven't really explained what we're talking about. I mean,
okay. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Set it up. Yeah. Because
so how would you, yes, I agree. So how would you define letting go? What is that to you? If somebody says, what do you mean letting go?
Well, I want to get to that later.
I thought you wanted to define that.
No, because what I'm thinking, I mean, we need to talk about the setup first. I mean, because there are different situations where people, what are we talking about when we say let go of the outcomes? And we're talking about different forms of manifestation, whether it's, you're planning your kid's birthday party and you're thinking, it's going to be so much fun and we're going to have all these children here and all these kids are just it's going to be a bright sunny day, and they're going to, and you get in your mind this vision of how this perfect birthday party is going to be for your child, and that all the children are going to come around and play the games and the pin the tail and the donkey, and it'll be a beautiful birthday cake, and all the kids are going to sit there and go, yum, it's good,
Mm-hmm.
and all that, and your kid's going to get the birthday presents they want, and kids are going to be happy and leave with their little party packages, and the parents are going to be nice, and isn't this lovely? And you get this whole setup in your mind. And then the day of, the cake isn't ready on time. People bring their kids in late. The games aren't going well because while you're trying to get a few of them on the games, half of them are running in another direction. It's raining outside, so you had to do everything inside. And it just goes all to shit, And it's like, and by the end of it, you're crying, your kid's crying, and half the kids leaving are crying because you're so stressed out because nothing went right. And why didn't it? Because you had this perfect vision in your head. And the same happens on wedding days, holiday dinners, all of that kind of stuff. And then, and so you might not think of it as manifesting like a lot of people manifest, but in a way it is, because every time you're planning those little things, those are like little mini manifestations that you're hoping will go the way that you expect them to go. And then it gets into the manifestations. You need a new car, or you need a better income, or you want a better job. And it's like nothing is happening. You're applying to jobs and you're not getting anything, or you're trying to save up money for a down payment on a house, and the money keeps going down the drain for other things, that instead of being able to buy the house that you want. And so it's just all kinds of things that go wrong, and that you're trying to figure out, why the hell doesn't anything go right? And you're holding on to the specific outcomes, right? In hopes that it will happen the way you want it. So then, going back to the question, which we're trying to address tonight, ask it again. Why? What do we call losing hope? Or
what is letting go? Why let go? What is the benefit of it?
Okay.
And
so
how, and once you get past that, maybe some good hot tips on how to let go. All right.
Right. So letting go means, you got to do, like, we'll use the kid's birthday party, for example. You got to do some planning. You can't just sit on your ass till Saturday morning and the party's happening at 1:00 and you go, well, I guess somebody better order that cake. You know, I mean, the cake's not going to magically appear. The games aren't going to magically, that kind of thing. So you make plans and you use your common sense, but you also have to recognize that the world is not perfect because you have too many variables in that situation. If you've invited 10 little 8-year-olds to this party, each one is going to have a different personality. They're not going to meet your expectation of how they should behave. And they're not all going to be interested in pinning the tail on the donkey. Some of them are going to be wanting to bang the trash can lids together and have an impromptu band. So you have to kind of be open. And then when those things happen, go with it. Oh, you'd rather do that? Well, then let go of your expectation that everybody's going to have fun with pinning the tail on the donkey when they don't give a rat's ass about pinning the tail on the donkey. Go with the flow. And where, and instead of being disappointed that you've set this all up for them to have a good time and they're not having a good time, you're defining their good time based on what you think their good time should be, not what they think their good time should be.
You're describing making it about yourself.
Yes, exactly.
Your outcome is based on you being the manifester, right?
Yes. And isn't that really what all of our expectations? I mean, anything that we plan, we forget sometimes to plan it for other people. We plan it for ourselves and what our expectations are. And so if you misplace who you're planning it for, then you're not going to get the outcome you expect. It'll never happen. And I'm guilty of it. I mean, there years ago, family be coming to visit, our parents would be coming to dinner or whatever, especially when I was a newlywed back in my early 20s. And it would be like, oh, well, we have to have everything perfect. The house has to be perfect. Dinner has to be perfect. I'd work my ass off shopping, cleaning, cooking, and be exhausted by the time they got there and paint a smile on my face and then be upset because things didn't go the way I thought they should go. Where if I had just chilled out and let things happen, it would have been much better for everybody concerned. And I got some of that from my mom because, like Christmas dinner, everybody was supposed to be at Christmas dinner. And we had to have this and we had to have that. And we had to have the table set a certain way. And this was expected and that was expected. So if I wanted to invite a friend at the last minute, she was freaking out. Where really, in my eyes, Christmas should be about a time where anything goes and you just have fun and whoever wants to come into the show can come into the show. No, this is for family and you don't invite outsiders. And what the fuck?
It was her expectation. Yeah.
Yes. She wanted the Norman Rockwell setting. And that's what she thought it should be. And a lot of people do. They see these examples on TV and magazines or whatever. Women, they use the Sports Illustrated magazine to set their anticipation for what their body should look like. And when they're 5'2" and not a beanpole, then their expectations are blown apart. Why can't I ever look like those models? Because you don't look like those models. You don't have the
They're computer generated. That's not a real human.
No, yeah. And not to mention airbrushing and all that stuff. I mean, but
that's
these
what
are
I mean by it's computer they're skinny and then there's computer alterations and editing on top of that. Yeah.
One of my favorite lines is from the movie In and Out, where this guy, he's a movie star, and he's got this girlfriend who's a model. Her name is Sonia. Everybody knows Sonia. It's just she's a one-name model. And at one point, he's like trying to take care of things in his hometown, and he leaves her at this little motel, which she's like doesn't even know how to use the push button phone. And he says, I'll be back later. He said, and for God's sake, eat something. You look like a swizzle stick. And it's like, I just think that is just the perfect quote. People are not swizzle sticks. and you to set your expectations based on your perceptions and what your hopes are is hard enough for yourself. And then when you go and do that for other people in other situations, it is
You're projecting.
Yeah. It's
unfortunately, you end up projecting your anxiety onto them as well.
Exactly.
Not just your vision, but all the emotional attachment and baggage and strings attached that come with it. And as you noticed over time, family starts resisting even going down those plans because they know they come with strings attached. Yeah, they know what they're slowly being roped into, and it's just disappointing. It's stressful and disappointing.
And then you kind of go, well, what's my part in all this, and why the hell do I even try if it's not gonna work out the way I want it to?
And that's one of the questions that we're roundabout eventually going to answer. So if you have a client sitting in front of you and you're talking, and you've done a good job throwing out examples, I'm looking for like an elevator speech kind of statement, sort of to wrap up this part of the segment of this particular podcast. What is, and I'm glad to, if your definition is different from mine, I'm glad, because they sometimes are. Mm-hmm. Elevator speech, or elevator statement, what is letting go mean to you? What does letting go mean to you? What does that phrase mean?
It means with allowing the natural process.
Yeah.
Free of totally constructing the outcome. You know what, and for me, one of the, well, I'll tell you how I do that in a minute, but go ahead.
All right. So you said a key word that was beautiful. Letting go actually means allowing the natural flow, divine timing, whatever you want to call it. There's lots of phrases for it. Synchronicity is another mainstream word. Serendipity is another typical word for this allowing. But a lot of people view letting go not so serenely. They see it as letting go means I give up control. And that terrifies them to the point that they won't go to drum circles. They won't have an intuitive reading. They won't come to a Reiki treatment, because those things require a certain level of allowing and surrender. That's another word, surrendering to the divine timing and divine flow. And they can't give up that much control, either mentally or emotionally or socially. So they don't participate. But they have real close friends who are tree hugging hippies that they love hearing their stories about drum circle and what they're learning in meditation and the benefits of theta healing and aromatherapy and crystal therapy and all this other stuff. But when they say, would you like to try? No. Thank you, no. But they want to hear the stories. That's a control issue. Letting go to them means surrender control. But you and I are trying to help explain it goes beyond that, and it's really more about allowing.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said that word. That was brilliant. Because when you allow, the concept of allow does not include losing hope. It does not include losing hope. During our pre-show discussion, we talked about letting go is also a leap of faith. And that's another way of saying that doesn't include losing hope. A leap of faith comes with the understanding that all hopes are possible now. Faith being losing confidence in a belief system, whether it's an idea or a religion or an understanding or whatever, just to be clear on terminology a little bit. So I would say, yeah, that I define letting go as a personal and maybe even a professional, but at least a personal leap of faith, which to me is, you can put that in the thesaurus right under allow.
Yeah.
They're highly related terms, but we also want to keep including the darker, nay, I say sadder interpretation of the scarier interpretation of losing control. And here's the trick about that. People who feel they must be in control all the time, self-control, control the situation, control of the outcome, control of the people in the scenario, all of it. When you're that much in control, you're also that much responsible for everything. And when you let go of that control and you allow, you are absolved of so much responsibility and baggage that it frees you. Letting go of the outcome is a personal freedom that you will never understand until you try it, until you actually do it. It's hard to comprehend. We're talking about some very abstract, profound things that hit several levels, not just conversational levels. They get deeper and higher. So for people that struggle with control issues, well, the question was, why let go? If you're a people pleaser, if you are a control freak, letting go does not initially appeal to you unless you sit with and think about what I just brought up. If you're not in control, you're also not responsible, and you are absolved of the results. Now, somebody who's a control freak and a fixer, they can come back around with, well, if the results are something that needs fixing, then that means more work for me. If we had just done it the way I had said in the first place, we wouldn't have to fix anything. That's assuming a whole lot to take that tack, but that's what controllers and fixers do. That's a tack they'll go down. That's assuming a whole lot. And the biggest one that comes out in a lot of the readings with relative subjects to this that I do privately is just because a situation or a reaction looks negative to you. Let's use your example. The little kids are crying. By the time they're in the sniffling and pouting by the time they leave because they wanted to play pirates and controlling mom wanted to pin the tail on the donkey instead. Well, now they're crying and they're pouting because they didn't get to play pirates and princesses like they imagined. That might look like a negative thing on the outside, and yeah, kids crying is not exactly lovely. That's not always a really good thing. However, that's a life lesson. That's an experience, a low vibration experience, and they can have high vibration experiences, but you don't get to choose which experience, viewpoint, awareness another human has, no matter how much of a control freak you enjoy being. I know from experience, I used to be a control freak, still kind of am. Iris can tell you. I've learned to pull way, way, way back on it. Because when other people stumble and fall, they learn from it. And if you bypass that life lesson, you're risking them having a worse, more severe, more dramatic event to reinforce that life lesson that you guys bypassed.
So who's
by
getting
taking care of it.
Are you saying the kids that didn't get to play pirates are getting a life lesson?
Yes.
Mm.
They are learning a life lesson in it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to get what you want, and it's okay to not get what you want. It's okay to express how you feel and find out who is safe space to express your disappointment in and who is not safe space to express your disappointment in as a child. All right. Who will be compassionate to how you feel and who will throw out, suck it up, little boys aren't allowed to cry. All right. You learn that person's value system and this other person's value system based on your current yardstick of I'm having disappointed, sad, angry feelings. Who can I express them with?
And I
All
get
right.
that, but I want to go back and address
Sure.
some of that because
there's so many different ways we can go with this. Go ahead.
yeah, because I agree. Children need to learn their lessons, and and sometimes you need to learn to go with the flow and that sort of thing. And oh well, I couldn't play pirates at the party. Well, it wasn't pirate time, so suck it up and play pin the tail on the donkey. I mean, I get that, but one of the things that I've learned with giving up control, and I can be controlling too, but one of the ways is to look at when you get caught up in all the little details and you've got these expectations and you're trying to let it go. One of the biggest things is for me is to back away a little bit and go, what is the purpose of the outcome? Do I want a textbook birthday party where everybody is behaving a certain way and doing a certain thing? And at this time, do I want this played out in a certain way? Or do I want an environment where kids are happy and going to leave happy and they're going to have a good time while being in a safe environment? And if I look at as long as the kids leave happy and they're playing safely and nicely with each other, then it doesn't matter what happens. I've reestablished what my goals are. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for a good time. And even with a birthday party, my goal is my kid going to be happy? Are they going to have fun? So if in the middle of the party they go, Mom, this isn't working, we would rather do this. If I'm not being a control freak and focused on that they should be doing X, Y, Z in this certain order, if I let go and go, well, if that's what y'all want to do, let's jump in there and have fun and do it and make it happen. And then everybody still has, then I've changed my expectations. Yes. And I'm more likely to realize the outcome that I really wanted to begin with, which was my original might have been that perfect birthday party that everybody would be happy when they left. How they have that birthday party really doesn't matter as long as everybody's happy when they leave and have a good time. And
exactly. So the child
drama at the birthday party to be the learning experience for some poor kid that goes home crying, and their mom goes, "Well, you'll never go back there and play with their kids again."
So the child, could be. So the child that's experiencing disappointment has a chance to motivate a shift in direction of activities if there's an aware adult that says, this is about you guys being happy, not about my vision of a perfect outcome. So I see disappointment in your little faces. Let's turn those frowns upside down, like you said, and we'll dive into doing what you guys want to do. What do y'all want to do? So their disappointment was actually a motivation for a different outcome, yet another benefit of actually experiencing disappointment. It becomes motivational for change. Which brings me to something else. Another thing we brought up was letting go of the outcome is a challenge for a lot of people because, like you said, sometimes, like the other example, you have a dream of a perfect job, let's say, and you're hard charging right down the middle, going for that job, and suddenly something blindsides you and says, hey, stop, turn here, and stop going straight up. You've got to change your path and go over this way. And it's way off course. And it's not nothing you have ever thought of before. This is a new person, new situation. Wait a minute. Do I keep hard charging on the way I thought? Or do I take an experiment, take a risk, and make that hard turn to go check out what has just been presented to me seemingly at random? And the comment and the rollout of that is, when stuff outside of the box hits you, if you are already used to, accustomed to thinking, feeling, existing, having awareness outside of your box, it's okay to have a box. Totally okay. It's a safety zone. That's where boundaries are. That's where you can reinforce them. That's okay. But if you're also comfortable outside of the box, when you're hard charging along in your box and something from the outside comes in and says, time to turn, you're okay with that energy too, because you're already have a level of awareness, level of comfort with thinking, being, changing outside of the box. This is really great for hard stops as well. You'd be hard charging along and suddenly the universe says, okay, done with that journey. And you're like, sometimes a good example, relationships, a relationship will suddenly stop and you're like, oh, I thought we were going to be friends for life. I thought we were going to be married forever or whatever. All right. Hard stop. It requires you to think outside of the box really fast and severely. But when you are already comfortable with being outside of the box, it does make those changes that much easier than just being blindsided, let's say.
That's kind of going with the flow, going with the flow, with the energy, and being
even a severe turn in the flow.
Yeah. Because things happen, and a lot of times, I've met with people who were upset because they lost their job. They thought things were going great and they lost their job, and they're sitting in my office and we get to talking and the tears come and they're like, and yes, there's a grieving process. If you're suddenly fired or laid off or whatever reason your job is no longer available, and I tell them this, it's a grieving process because it wasn't expected. And
letting go is a grieving process for some people. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's fine. And I recognize that. But now you've got a lot of opportunities to do something
That's
different.
the other way to look at it. Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's an opportunity. And there have been people that I've gotten the signal on and I've looked right at them and gone, and how long have you been wanting to change jobs? How long have you been wanting to get away from this job? And they'll go,
before you got pushed.
Yes. And I'll say, the universe heard you, dear. It was time, because you weren't going to do it on your own, were you? No, I really wasn't. I'd gotten comfortable. So now you're outside your comfort zone and you're going to have a thrill of adventure.
There was a great meme. It showed an ethereal looking being pushing on a silhouette of a human that was sitting down looking sad. And it pushed on it. In the art picture, it was obvious that he was pushing, the big higher being was pushing hard on the silhouette of this more solid being. And the subtitle said, I had to hit you that hard, or else you would have never changed, or it says something similar like that. You were never going to change until I hit you that hard, or something like that. But yeah, same kind of thing. Sometimes it takes a big push to make people change. It happens in threes. That's a common thing. You get a little tap that says, hey, you really need to think about making this change or stopping this. And if you ignore it, a bigger hit comes and you have a loss. Because I didn't make that change that my first intuition I heard and I ignored it, crap, now I have a loss. And the third one becomes a huge hit. If you ignore it a second time, now we're talking car accidents, heart attacks, loss of limb and life, loss of house, huge losses. And you're like, son of a bitch, I wish I'd listened the first 1 or 2 times before it was catastrophic. But it escalates. And many times, a second time something goes whacks around and you're like, I'm now like, you know what? We ain't going to number 3. I'll take this tiny hit compared to what y'all can do and take the hint, and we're going this way. Yeah. So being in the divine flow, it reinforces itself if you don't listen. Sadness, disappointment, that's the small first one. It gets worse if you keep ignoring the signals for what you should be doing instead.
Oh, and this also reminds me, I think it's a good time to address, and it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but I want to address. People then come back and go, but what about free will?
Thank you. I have that in my notes.
And I think, yes. And the thing for me, because sometimes I've thought the same thing, it's like, but damn it, that was not my goal. That was not what I thought, regardless of, I don't want to, I want change, but I don't want change. I want this. And so either I'm being wishy-washy in my free will, and so the universe, but there is in your mind and in your subconscious is communicating what you really want. And if you stop and really allow yourself to voice what you really want, because a lot of times we kind of go, we censor ourselves, outwardly, and we go, well, yeah, of course I would love a new house, or I'd love a new job, or whatever, but it's just not possible right now. And, so I'll just make some little changes. Well, in the meantime, your subconscious says, I know what you really want. And it's doing the negotiation with the universe to make that happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, give it to her. She can take it. Bam! Up you go. And it's like, what the hell?
3 strikes, baby. Tap, boom, bang. Yeah.
So nobody's taking your free will away from you. You've got multiple levels working in your favor because you have a higher divine self, you've got a subconscious, and then you've got your main 3D physical self, and then you might have your 5D shaman self, and all of them are conversing for what is in your highest and best interest, and trying to manifest what your biggest desires are, and trying to sort through the shit that you're throwing out that's preventing the blocks. So
which brings me to a universal law that a lot of people don't either have never heard of, or they don't believe it when they do hear it because they've been conditioned to be so negative. The universe conspires to help you. It is a benevolent universe, is another way to say it. And a lot of people don't believe that. They think if they lose control or stop controlling, that it all devolves into chaos and that's all that can happen. And they try to quote science, but if you look into it, a lot of the science that we have been taught is not actually correct. Chaos is not one of the rules, basic laws of the universe. It does exist, but it's not as powerful as they think. But anyway, it is a benevolent, staying on topic. Mm-hmm. It is a benevolent universe. The universe conspires to help you. So when you manifest, when you put something out there, the universe is immediately on it. And you're talking about even our subconscious does that. It tells the universe what we want, and the universe listens and participates in our subconscious signals too. Absolutely, it does. Which brings us to a point that you brought up too. You can't okay, we're talking about letting go of the outcome. And one interpretation is, okay, so I can sit on the couch and eat bonbons and play video games all day, and the universe will bring me what I want to manifest. You have to participate. Yeah, you have to participate, because when the universe is bringing you, when you place an order, and sidebar, you say it one time. You don't keep manifesting every day at the same day in a meditation over and over and over, because that's telling the universe that you have no confidence that it will happen. So it keeps delaying it because you said, I expect a delay. So I'm going to, okay, it contradicts the message. You say it one time and drop it. The next thing that happens is the universe starts sending you opportunities to set up the foundation for it to happen. And you have to participate for that foundation to set in. Sometimes a part of that foundation is your mindset has to change. It can't support that lifestyle. It can't support that life choice without your brain being in alignment harmoniously, frequency-wise, however you want, awareness level, however you want to phrase that. But you have to actually participate with the little signals that come in. So you want a new job, you put it out in the universe, and that evening your friend says, hey, there's a new meetup in town for people that are dachshund dog owners. So I have a dachshund and you have a terrier. Let's go check it out. We'll take my dog, right? And you're like, I got a dog. I don't need other people's dogs. And you resist. If you had bothered to go, possibly, you go there, you meet other people with little dogs. You meet a man that's a CEO that's looking to hire and expand his staff, but he needs more creative energy and he's creating jobs and job descriptions. He chills out with his dog and gets off of that, corporate rat reel by hanging out in the park with people that have nothing to do with his jobs. But he does mention he's hiring and that's going on. Well, guess what? You just found an opportunity for a better job that you can actually write your own job description. You wouldn't have known that if you didn't take the hint from your friend inviting you to the dog event. You have to participate, even at mundane levels, because they add up and they become way not mundane. Way not. Yeah. You have to participate. You also mentioned, and I said it was in my notes, and I've got plenty of notes here. Manifesting versus free will.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about free will. Free will, well, you manifest your free will. They actually are related. All right. And it's also the other way around. Your free will creates manifestations. You freely will something into existence. You freely manifest something. Free will. Free will. In mind. I should caveat. This is my definition of free will. That doesn't mean it's everybody's. So free will and manifesting actually go hand in hand. A related, in my understanding, and a related question that my students often asked me was, how do I reconcile manifesting versus not making it about me? Which is something else we just talked about. Letting go is allowing other stuff to happen and not making it about you. Well, how do you manifest something and not make it about you? Such as, you want to manifest a job. Well, how do I manifest a better job for myself and not make it about me? And on the surface, that sounds like a really good conundrum. Sidebar, the whole universe is made of conundrums. That's actually the norm out there. The contradicting beliefs are intertwine and work right beside each other. So, and they do intertwine. So manifesting and letting go of the outcome and not about you, free will, basically it ties back into what we were just talking about a second ago. When you want to manifest something, you say it once and be specific and careful what you ask for. Make sure you really want it. All right. You say it once and you let it go. And then you start participating with the signals or the opportunities that start coming in that could lead towards your, and usually do lead right for your destination or your manifestation. The rub about not making it about you is only saying it once, only focusing for manifestation on a singular time. You're also using the words, I have a better job. I am a healthy person. I have all the money I need and more. You don't say, I will have, I will be, it is coming. You don't say those push it into the future. You say, I am once and let it go. And that is making it not about you. Saying it over and over again, over again, is succumbing to your ego, fears, and insecurities that make it about you. I'm not sure that the universe heard this correctly. It's not happening fast enough. I'm going to say it again just to be sure. I wanted a better relationship with my mother, and now she just calls me all the time, but we still argue. Maybe the universe didn't understand. I'm going to manifest that again about a better relationship with my mother. There's other ways to fix those examples besides making it more about you. All right. So one time, let it go. And that's how you get away from the apparent conundrum, or you reconcile, not get away from, reconcile that weird juxtaposition of manifesting for yourself and not being about me. What are the benefits of letting go, Iris?
Well, I mean, it is by letting go of the outcomes, you end up having more enjoyment of the process because you're not so tied up in what the results are going to be. So if you're, you can enjoy planning a party or your wedding or achieving a new job or whatever it might be, and you can have fun without being tied to what your ultimate opinion of how it should end be. Because in reality, when you manifest or when you have, when you're trying to make something happen in your life, if you're letting go of how that happens, you might end up with something even better than what you could have anticipated. And that makes it even more exciting to kind of see, well, let's see where this goes. And I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. Years ago, it's probably been about, it's been about 15 years ago now. I got fired from a job. I had told myself in May when I had finished, it was May of 2008. I told myself I've got my master's degree and I'm going to go get a job teaching so I'll have time to write and do some of the other things I want to do. And I didn't. I stayed right where I was and went with the flow, and work got harder and more difficult with the particular person I was working with at the time. And by September, I had not moved my ass out of there or made any move toward looking for work, and I got fired. And it was pretty bogus reasons. It was miscommunication, that sort of thing. And when I was packing up my desk, I just smiled and said, thank you, universe. I know what you did there. Saw that. And yeah. And I went home, and yeah, there was a little bit of a grieving process because it didn't happen on my terms. It happened on somebody else's terms. But I knew it happened the way it did because I had desired change and wanted a different life for myself. And as a result, I kind of let go of the exact outcome, and I started researching all the things that I had always wanted to learn about and wanted to do and wanted to experience. And as a result, I was going to different meetup groups and I was meeting all kinds of people, and I got more ideas and ended up getting where I wanted to be in the long run and in the position I wanted, and had a blast doing it, and expanded and got involved with more projects than I ever would have imagined if I hadn't have just gone with the flow. If I had just strictly gone and looked for a job and said, okay, I got to go to work right now. And I mean, I was still looking for work at the time, and I was making those calls, but things would pop up and it'd be like, you want to learn about that? Okay, I'm going to go to those meetings. You want to learn about that? Yeah, I want to go to those. And that's how I ended up getting involved in film and writing for film and doing projects with people, and doing other writings and getting involved in paranormal investigation. All of that stuff happened because I let go of the ultimate outcome once things started rolling. And
Yeah.
I have enjoyed life so much more in the past 15 years than I would have if I had tried to fight it every step of the way.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. It's a great example. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good
Yeah.
example. So, yeah, letting go ends up with better results.
Yeah.
You're letting creator / God / source / great spirit, Allah, whatever you want to call it, you're letting them, he, she, it, they, whatever pronoun you like, take the wheel. You're letting source. Yeah.
Here's the caveat to that, though, because we are all part of the same.
That's
So
the next
in a
level awareness in
vacuum,
that statement. You're actually controlling it to some extent. Yeah.
to some extent, you are involved in it,
You
but
are God. You
you are
are a
getting
part of the
help.
one. Yeah.
You're getting help. And asking for
And
help is one of
manifesting.
the biggest things that people have a trouble doing. But when you let it happen on a whole nother level and recognize I am participating, even if I don't think I am, you are.
You're participating by manifesting.
Yes.
Yeah. You're a navigator. And then you become a driver when they start bringing you opportunities. You become a pilot and not just a navigator.
And
And you
it
jump
really can
seat to
blow
seat in
your
the
mind when
airplane.
you're in the middle of that and you see that happening. It's like, this is so cool,
I needed something and it showed right up. Oh my God. Yeah. Literally somebody will come up and hand it to you. I know so many stories firsthand of wealthy people that were big hearted and intuitive and in the flow like that there are times that they, for no reason, saw a person in the streets, at the grocery store, getting in and out of their car, gasoline pump, and they would literally went up to the person and handed them a wad of cash and said, hey, you don't know me from Eve, you don't know me from Adam, but God said I'm supposed to give this to you to the tunes of thousands of dollars. I'm supposed to give this to you, no questions asked. I love you. God bless you. Bye-bye. And walk away. And they're going, who are you? Well, sir, he's gone. What is this fake? And it's real. And I literally have met 3 people 3 different times in my life, years apart, that had multiple experiences of you're supposed to give that person a big old wad of cash. And in the moment they did it. And then sometimes they stayed and said, what's this about? I'm supposed to give you this. What's it about? Do you have a need? Sometimes they ask. And yeah, their kids going into surgery, their car just broke, they just lost their job, they were homeless and had an opportunity to have a home, but it wasn't for another week. They needed money for a hotel. You know, one time it was like $50 and it was like, thank you that I haven't eaten in 2 days and I don't get a paycheck for another 2 days. This will help me buy food for the next couple of days. And so on and so on and so on. My dog just died, you know, on and on and on. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating when you are in the flow. It's like, yeah, money can show up at random, but you have to participate. You have to be out there pumping the gas, going to the grocery store, turning around and smiling when the stranger says, excuse me, hi. You know, you can't hide in a hole and wait for the universe to drop in through the roof. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to actually participate. In other words, participate. Be open to. Be
A lot of
open
times,
to
getting
opportunity.
out of your own damn way.
Yes. Whole nother conversation tangent that's very relevant here. Yes. That's your control freak kicking back in, or it's your ego kicking back in a more subtle back doorway rather than coming straight at you.
Yeah.
That's a control issue when you're getting all in your own way. Yeah, letting the minutia call the shots rather than letting spirit and the abstract call the shots.
Yes.
The biggest hint behind this, I can see we're almost to the end of our time slot that we create for this. The biggest piece that comes from that getting out of your own way is not letting the minutia run the show. It ties back into what we've already talked about a little bit. Outside of the box awareness. Don't get so locked down, forest for the trees that you can only see inside of your box. Be aware of when your awareness is appropriately maintaining your boundaries and box, and when it needs to be keeping a better eye on everybody's favorite guiding principle, the big picture.
One of the biggest things I've done for myself overall is when I start getting caught up is asking why. Why am I doing it this way? Why am I so controlling of this? Why am I doing this? What is the ultimate purpose? And when you
What am I trying to achieve here? Yeah.
And once you start, you know, because a lot of times when I'm controlling about something and I ask myself why, it's because of some sort of fear that's getting in my way.
Fear of failure, fear of not succeeding, fear of all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you identify that, bam, it goes, and then you can have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So hopefully this is
fear of failure is a big one. Fear of failure is a big one. Yeah, it's a big one. But we're going to talk about all related stuff. So, Iris, what are we talking about in December?
November.
Topics.
November.
Yep. Good God, time is bending. For me, November's already wrapping up.
We have 5 weeks in November. And next week, we're going to talk about Samhain and Halloween and the Day of the Dead and what they have in common. And what the differences and that sort of stuff. But we're going to kind of cover some of that stuff. And then I can't promise the exact order, but the following weeks we're working on that. We've got the topics, we just got to place them in the right places. We're going to talk about crystals, rocks, and stones, and what they do for you and how to use
medicine.
them. Yes.
Crystal medicine, crystal practices. Yep.
And another topic is why the chaos. A lot of people are struggling with chaos right now. And so we're going to talk about why there is chaos and what it can do for you and that sort of thing and how to handle it. We'll bring psychic readings back for one of these coming weeks. And then we're going to also talk about energetic contracts.
Woohoo! Everybody's bane and everybody's joy, depending on how you look at it.
So we hope
Spiritual
that you
contracts. Whoa, energetic contracts.
They're
Woo, energetic
they're
cords and
fun.
attachments. Yeah.
I love talking and dealing with that kind of stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, the Akashic stuff, shamanic stuff, it's everywhere. Contracts. Yeah.
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 So, all right. So with that, we hope that you will join us next week and appreciate everybody joining us and good to see you. So take care and have a good week, and we'll be back same time, same channel next week.
Good night.
Okay? Good night.
Thank you for joining the Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod. Find us at facebook.com/Eyes of Indigo, on YouTube under @Iris Carter Enterprises, and on various podcast aggregators. Copyright 2023 by Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears.